Hello everyone and welcome to a new series that I like to call Building Your Own High School. I know a lot of other YouTubers have done this. It's not very original. It's kind of like the, the laugh you lose challenge, I guess. But regardless, I thought I would give it a shot. And so when you start a high school, right, or when you're thinking about starting a high school, you have to do things to make the high school exist, right? But like, what do you do? So that's where I'm at a little bit, right? So let me explain to you what I've done. And then in this video, I want to list some of the steps that I need to take going forward in hopes that maybe you could help me out in some way. Maybe you know people, maybe you yourself have something to tell me. And also, so I don't forget them. And to sort of make some actionable steps that I'll also take in live streams too. I think it'll be cool to sort of involve you guys in some of my research that I do, working on the website, all that kind of stuff. But before we do that, let me explain a little bit of what I've already done so far. And to do that, I'm gonna need a little help from one of my best friends, my whiteboard. But it's actually my other whiteboard. I know you guys really want to see my real whiteboard. I know it's coming soon, but I have two actually. One of them sits under my bed, and we're gonna use that one today because it doesn't have anything on it, so it's like a blank whiteboard. I'll show you.
All right, I gotta keep it out of focus, but that's my crazy whiteboard over there. And down here, well, that's my fan. I only have one fan, one subscriber. Oh, that's my bear, and that's my sloth. But this, my friends, this is what I was talking about. Yeah. All right, so step number one, like I said, what have I done? All right, let's start there. What have I done? Okay, well, the first thing is, well, we gotta underline this. What have I done? The first thing I've done is gone to high school. You actually know what's funny? I graduated high school, okay, but I don't actually have my diploma because I didn't go to graduation because I just transferred there that semester, and I don't know. You can tell me I was an idiot for not going to graduation. You're probably right, but I didn't go, so I don't even have my diploma officially. So I guess I'm just not a high school graduate. But all jokes aside, I think it's obviously important to have gone to high school if you're gonna start one. That was something I figured out pretty early on, was that, okay, I need to at least experience it first. Initially I was like, okay, high school is gonna start its own high school, it's gonna be bad. Then I was like, okay, wait, maybe high school graduate should start its own high school. Maybe we should phrase it like that, because I think it's good to be young. I think me being even just 18, 19, and then probably when I start this school in my young 20s, super important perspective being young, obviously, but also super important is going through high school and then also having a few years to reflect on high school. When you're in high school, it's pretty easy to have a problem with how everything is done. So I think it's important to I think it's good to be at least a little bit removed from that, so you can kind of be more objective and not just kind of be emotional about it. I think that's something I've definitely taken to heart, because I think at the beginning it was very emotional. This high school thing was really kind of just an emotional reaction that I just have weird emotional reactions. But anyways, moving on. So for the sake of time, I'm gonna kind of condense a few of these because I could go on for a while, but we're gonna kind of, just for the sake of time, kind of skip a little bit here. So the next thing that I did was decide to create my own, well, it's not my own. Okay, I don't want it to be like an ego thing, but it is a high school for me, a high school that I would want to go to. Okay, so decided to create my own high school. And then I also did lots of research. And I think an important note is that I'm not done researching. And like I said in my last video, if you guys ever come across interesting educational information, especially related to high school, please send it to me, because I'm always learning, I'm always looking for new stuff. But I have done a fair amount of research. I do know my stuff, at least when it comes to different educational models. I'm not very well versed in educational laws. That's kind of my next step, which we'll talk about in a moment. But then the last thing I think is I've begun to spread awareness.
And where we at?
And I'm very much still in the process of spreading awareness. However, I just ordered business cards actually. You guys saw that in the last video. Those are gonna get here soon. Those are gonna be kind of crucial. I think business cards are kind of key. When I started Golden Aspect with Zach, we made business cards, and that kind of just makes it tangible. Obviously the website, I also did that. I made a website. That's kind of important too. But anyways, again, for the sake of time, I'm more concerned about what I'm going to do than what I've done. But creating a website and ordering business cards is a great way to make it tangible. As soon as those get here, you best believe that everyone that I come in contact with is gonna have one of those. Again, it's spreading awareness, just making it feel real, you know, like taking your concept from an idea to something that at least people can see a little bit more. Again, with the name Escalate, that's a name that I love. I would really like to use that name. I guess I'm not gonna die over it if it ends up changing at some point, but again, it's picking a name and making people aware of it. Like, I want a lot of people to know about Escalate High School. So that's a process that I've begun, and that's kind of where I'm at right now, and I'm gonna continue with that. But let's shift gears now and do a little bit of talking about what I need to do. What are the next steps in, as I said, building your own high school? Like a pretty common thing. Maybe you guys already know some of these. Yeah, so let's write some of them down that I have in my head, and if you guys have any other ones that you think I should add, please let me know. But I need to write a few down just so we can sort of have an idea of where we're going moving forward. All right, so, we're gonna do red marker. Why do I feel like a lot of my videos from now on are just gonna be me writing on a whiteboard? Okay, future steps. I was actually just DMing someone on Instagram about this. Shout out to Peter, and I actually wrote down, I told him a couple, and so I'm gonna use some of those actually. So the first thing we gotta do, and this is kind of just, well, this is kind of a big thing, okay? It could have multiple things under it, but again, for the sake of time, we're just gonna sort of abbreviate here for a moment. Make the best concept possible. Okay, and what I mean by this is basically flesh out the school as much as possible in terms of like theory and concept, and basically get the school working in my head, right? Like, make sure that everything, to the best of my knowledge, and obviously include other people in this process as well, but make sure that the school, like in my head, is fully functioning exactly where I want it to be, at least as close as I can. And that's actually something that I hope to kind of get to pretty soon, because the next steps you guys will kind of, I'll add a little bit more context. So after I do that, right, then we're gonna go and we're gonna talk with administrators, lawyers, teachers, etc. about laws, regulations, etc. Essentially what I plan to do is make the school exactly how I want it in my head, with with little restrictions, right? Not taking into account laws and all of that stuff. As outside the box as I guess I would want it to be. Like I said, I want to have this done pretty soon, probably before I go to college is kind of my goal. Because once I get to college, and once I'm out in Los Angeles, I want to basically get in contact with as many adults as I can and figure out, okay, again, not thinking about the next step, which is going to be kind of, well, we'll get there, but not worrying about a lot of other factors, primary one being funding, but strictly speaking in terms of practicality, in terms of like laws, in terms of actually getting an accredited school, all of that stuff. And we're gonna basically take the concept that I had initially, and I've already done this a little bit, like everything I think about it is a little bit, because I know a little bit about educational laws and regulations and stuff. I don't know that much. I should know a lot more, and we'll get there. But I'm gonna kind of take this concept that I have and kind of hammer in the sides a little bit, get it a little bit closer to a box, right? We're gonna stay outside of the box. It's still gonna, the school needs to be out there, right? It needs to be what I want it to be. I'm not gonna settle for basically making another high school that's already been created, okay? But there are gonna be little things here and there that we're gonna need to tweak, and I really wanna get in contact with the right people who really know what they're talking about and make sure that can actually happen. At the same time, we also need to do a little bit of recruitment for team. Said that backwards, but it's okay. One of the biggest reasons I decided to go to college is that I want to meet people for this high school and just in general, obviously. But I'm really looking forward to meeting some people that I would actually like to bring on to my team. I'm hopeful that at least one or two at my college would be interested and that I could bring on. So that's something I'm definitely looking for. That's kind of a passive thing, but will soon become much more active because this is not going to be a one-man project. Obviously, I have all of you guys, and I hope that as my channel continues to grow, we will end up with an army of people that will help make this happen. But I do need a couple of key people that are kind of right beside me and that are kind of just as invested in this project as I am. So that's kind of something that I'm also looking for. And kind of in connection with that, I guess, is build online following. Like I've said, and I will continue to say, also, by the way, that's my toilet. Anyways, as I've said, and I will continue to say, this high school is gonna be probably I want it to be at least one of the most well-known high schools out there, and that's gonna be achieved through building my YouTube channel and building just sort of the online presence of this school. If it's gonna be a school that's so heavily based around the internet, and that we're gonna try to look for I don't want the school to have millions of followers, right? But the idea being, I want almost every kid that would be right for this school to at least have knowledge of it. There's still so many high schools out there that I'm hearing about that honestly seem really cool to me, and I wish I could have at least considered attending, but I never knew about them, you know, and it's really hard. Again, I don't think I'm gonna reach every kid in the United States or across the world or wherever, but I think that this high school can have a much bigger online presence than other high schools, and I think that we can do that in a way where we're actually reaching, like just by making these vlogs, I think I'm gonna reach a lot of you guys, right? And I think that'll be really cool, because when we actually build this school, I wanna make sure that there's a lot of kids that wanna go and that we can get really the right kids to this school. I hope and I expect that the application process will be very, very selective, because we're gonna be looking for very, very specific kids, and I wanna make sure that we're getting enough people that are aware of it so that we can get those students. At the same time, like I said, this is so much bigger than just the school, right? By building this school and having a bigger online presence, I really hope that we'll inspire change elsewhere. I hope that you guys, even just by watching these videos, will wanna go out and do something at your school or somewhere else. You know, it's not like, I don't want you guys to take what I'm doing with this school and try to replicate it anywhere else necessarily, okay? But I want you to take notes, and I want you to take little pieces from what I'm doing and see if that in some way could make your school or some place you're connected to better, right? Like, that's really important to me, that this is bigger than just the school, even though we're starting with the school, because that's you have to start somewhere. And then we got, I think I'm just gonna do one more, because like I said, there's a million steps, and part of this too is gonna be live streaming, oh God. I have really good handwriting, by the way. But live streaming is gonna be important too, I think, for spreading awareness and talking to you guys and all that stuff. And then I think I had one more, or maybe not. I guess sort of the next, well, there's probably a million until that point. But I guess maybe a passive one is to build a network for potential investors. And that, at least in my head right now, is a pretty long ways away, like, I'll be honest. But it's still something that I'm thinking about, because obviously if you're gonna start a private school, you will need funding, and so that's always something that I'm thinking about, especially in terms of the college network. It's definitely gonna be something I'm gonna be at least actively thinking about. But lots of things before that happens. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, kind of just letting you know where I'm at. I hope this kind of gave you a little bit more insight. As I said, there's gonna be a lot of videos like this where it's kind of just maybe saying kind of similar stuff over and over again, but kind of just explaining where my head's at, what I'm thinking about, what I'm thinking of doing. As always, I really invite you guys to become a part of this process with me. If there's any of those steps that you think you could help with, or if you just have any general comments and feedback, as always, I would love to hear them. That's why I'm doing this vlog. But I'm really, really happy with where this is going overall. I'll explain a little bit more about the concept for the school in the next couple of videos, just because I think a lot of you guys still might not have a perfect idea of kind of what this school is, but I'll leave a little bit of suspense. But I really think that there's something here, and like I said, I don't know where this goes, but I know where it starts, and that's always been my philosophy, is start somewhere and see where it ends up. So we're gonna start there. I got an action list of stuff to do. Probably the first thing I'm gonna do, and this will probably be part of my future videos, is try to flesh out the concept for the school and kind of make it a real thing, like figure out how is this actually gonna work, and I'll need your help with that. So be sure to subscribe, stay tuned for my video. Be sure to subscribe, stay tuned for more videos coming soon. I really appreciate all of you guys that have stuck around. Like I said, this is kind of the beginning. This is really the beginning. But I hope you guys are excited. So thank you all so much for supporting me. It does mean a lot, and I won't keep you any longer this time. I know I do fake outros, but for this time, it's a real outro. Take care, guys.
Can't help thinking about the good days, my love. When do we fade away? I got it on replay.